In the sprawling, ink-stained universe of comic books, few figures cast a shadow as long and as dark as Frank Castle, the Punisher. He is a symbol of absolute, uncompromising justice, a one-man army waging a relentless war on crime. We are drawn to his brutal efficiency, his unwavering moral certainty. Yet, when we hold this fiction up to the harsh light of reality, the heroic image shatters, revealing a far more complicated and dangerous truth about the nature of vigilantism. The Punisher is a compelling fantasy, but the real world has no place for such a blunt instrument. The appeal of the Punisher lies in his simplicity. In a world of gods and monsters, Frank Castle is painfully human, driven by a singular, understandable trauma: the murder of his family. This origin gives him a clear, almost righteous mission. His targets are not morally ambiguous. They are the irredeemable scum of the earth: mobsters, murderers, and predators who have slipped through the cracks of a broken justice system. The fiction grants him near-superhuman abilities in tactics, combat, and pain tolerance, allowing him to execute his mission with surgical precision. He never misses, he never hits an innocent bystander, and his world is a stark canvas of black and white. In this curated reality, his skull emblem isn't a sign of terror, but a promise of closure that the law cannot provide. He is the ultimate power fantasy, a force that brings order to chaos through sheer will and firepower. However, when we step out of the comic panel and into the real world, the vigilante is not a hero. They are a tragedy waiting to happen. Real-world vigilantes are rarely the highly trained, tactically brilliant operatives of fiction. They are often desperate, mentally unwell, or driven by a clouded mix of fear, rage, and prejudice. Their motives are not pure, and their targets are not always clear-cut villains. The world they operate in is a chaotic landscape of gray, where a single, ill-informed decision can lead to devastating and irreversible consequences. Unlike Frank Castle's clean kills, real-world violence is messy, indiscriminate, and creates ripples of trauma that affect entire communities. The legal system, for all its flaws, exists to prevent this very chaos, to ensure that judgment is not left in the hands of one person acting on impulse and incomplete information. Real vigilantism doesn't solve problems. It creates new victims and perpetuates cycles of violence. Ultimately, the chasm between the Punisher and the real-world vigilante reveals a profound truth about ourselves. We are drawn to Frank Castle not because we truly want his methods enacted on our streets, but because he represents a desire for simple solutions in an increasingly complex world. He is a cathartic release, a fictional answer to our frustrations with injustice. To admire the Punisher as a character is to appreciate a dark and compelling piece of storytelling. But to idolize him as a role model is to embrace a dangerous and fundamentally flawed ideology. His story should not be a blueprint for action, but a cautionary tale. So, we must ask ourselves, what does our fascination with this violent fantasy say about our own anxieties and our wavering faith in the very systems designed to protect us?